Good morning, students. As we have started with a chapter 2, that is acids, bases, and salts. So, in our previous videos, we have learned much more about acids and bases. So, today let us learn still more things about the acids and bases. Mainly, we are going to learn the classification of the acids and bases and how strong acid or base solutions that we are going to discuss in today's class. So student, let us begin with the classification of the acids. Acids can be classified on the basis of their strength as a strong acids and weak acids, basis of the composition as a organic acid and inorganic acids or mineral acids, on the basis of concentration as the concentrated acids and dilute acids. Still more types will come, that all you will study in your higher classes, students. Time being, we are going to learn only these types of the acids. So let us start with a classification of acids based on their strength. What is the strength, students? As you put the acids in the water, they will start ionizing. There is a dissociation. They will divide into cation and anion. So the degree of ionization of an acid in the aqueous solution, we are going to call it as the strength. When there is a more number of ions, then that acid is called as the stronger acid. Let us start with the first type, that is strong acids. To which one we are going to call the strong acids? As I said, you are going to put the acid in the water. If it will completely dissociate into ions, then it is called as the strong acid. See the example there, HCl, hydrochloric acid, aqueous solution, means when you are going to put it in the water, it will dissociate into H plus and a Cl minus. As you know, this H plus ions further they will combine with the water molecules to form hydronium ions. So that we find. Examples for the mineral acids as well as strong acids like hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, etc. See there, we can show the unidirectional arrow in a chemical equation, because again we can't form the HCl. Once they have formed, it's over. So it is called as complete dissociation of the ions. Complete formation of ions called strong acids. Yes, students, what are all called weak acids? The acids, when put it in the water, if they dissociate partially, means if there is an incomplete formation of ions, then those acids are called as the weak acids. See the example, CH3COOH, acetic acid. When you put it in the water, it will dissociate into H plus plus CH3COO minus, but it is an incomplete dissociation, or you can say partial dissociation. Such type of the acids are called as the weak acids. There you can see the arrow mark, the equilibrium between dissociated and undissociated molecules we can observe. Examples for weak acids like organic acids. It may be CH3COOH, that is acetic acid, HCOOH, formic acid, etc. So these are the examples for weak acids. Incomplete dissociation of ions called weak acids. The second type of classification of acid is based on chemical composition. You can call it as based on origin of the acids also. There are of two types. The first one is organic acids. What's the meaning of organic acids? Which are found in living organisms. Means they may be the sources of plants or animals, called as organic acids. And essentially these compounds of are having carbon and hydrogen atoms, like formic acid, right? HCOOH, it's having the carbon and hydrogen. Next, these are edible, means these are present in our food ingredient, we can have it. But these are the weak acids, they will partially dissociate in the water. Not very dangerous means these are less corrosive, we can say. Examples for the organic acids like citric acid, that is lemon, orange, strawberry, all these, lactic acid, curd, acetic acid, pickles, chumens, formic acid, red ants and honeybees sting we find, oxalic acid in tomatoes, tartaric acid in the tamarind. Second type is mineral acids, means these are called as inorganic acids. The acids which are obtained from one or more inorganic compounds, means mostly from the minerals in the earth's crust, what we take, those are called as the mineral acids. These are composed of different chemical elements with a combination, they need to have the carbon. These are inedible, means these are poisonous. Strong acids, they will dissociate completely in the water. Dangerous means these are highly corrosive. Examples like hydrochloric acid, HCl, sulfuric acid, H2SO4, nitric acid, HNO3, phosphoric acid, H3PO4. So these are all the example. Exceptions are there in the mineral acids. Those are carbonic acids and the boric acid. The next one based on concentration. The copper solution is measured with the help of amount of solute dissolved in a solvent. See, when the amount of solute is more, the solution is called concentrated. And when the amount of solute is less, it is called as the dilute solution. See students, you are familiar with the concentration. For example, you usually keep the orange squash or ruabza in your fridge and all. Okay, so how is that squash? It is thick, sticky, sweety, right? So what you will do, it is called a concentrated. To that you are going to add the water, right? So that adding the water means you have made it diluted, right? So let us understand with the example. See, take two beakers. Both the beakers are filled with 100 ml of water. In the first beaker, you are taking 20 ml of orange squash and stirring it. In the second, you are taking 60 ml of orange squash and stirring. Means what happened? The first 20 ml is diluted and the second one is 60 ml is the concentrated. See students, we can say these are relative. Relative in the sense, how to explain? Take another beaker, fill it with 100 ml of water, take 40 ml of orange squash in that. Let me label the first as the first beaker, this is the second and the third one. So compared with the first, the second one is more concentrated. But you compare it with the third one means it is a diluted. So that is the meaning, these are the relative. So the third type of classification of acids is based on concentration. The concentration of an acid is a measure of the amount of acid dissolved in a solvent. So based on this, there are of two types called concentrated acids and dilute acids. The first one, concentrated acids. When amount of solute means acid dissolved in a relatively large as compared to the quantity of the solvent, means the amount of acid is more in the water, that time you are going to call it as concentrated acid, like concentrated sulfuric acid, concentrated hydrochloric acid, that one. So it is represented as the symbol what they are showing there. Then dilute acids. When small amount of solute is dissolved in a relatively large quantity of a solvent, means you have taken more amount of water and the acid quantity is very less compared with the solvent, that time what you have prepared is called as the dilute acid, right? So example like dilute hydrochloric acid, dilute sulfuric acid, so like that we are telling. Let us move on to the classification of bases. Bases can be classified based on their strength as a strong basis and weak basis, and based on their concentration they can be classified as concentrated bases and the dilute bases. Let us study one by one. First type of the base, that is based on strength. Based on strength means if you take the base and put it in the water, if completely dissociates, then that is the meaning called as strength of the base. So nothing but it is a measure of the degree of ionization of a base in an aqueous solution. The greater the number of ions dissociates or release in a solution, you are going to call it as the strong base. If there is a complete dissociation of ions, when bases are dissolved in water, they are called as the strong bases. See the equation, students. NaOH, when you put it in the water, it will completely dissociate into Na plus and OH minus. So such examples are called as the strong bases, and it is a unidirectional, means irreversible. Examples for the strong bases like sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, barium hydroxide, etc. Meaning of a weak basis. If the basis dissociates partially in the water, then these are called as the weak bases. See the example, ammonium hydroxide, NH4OH. When we put it in the water, if it dissociates as NH4 plus OH minus, means there is a incomplete or partial dissociation of the ions. Such bases are called as the weak bases. Examples like ammonium hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, copper hydroxide, etc. And these you can see there as a reversible reaction. It is double arrow mark we can find there. The second type of classification of base is based on concentration. What is concentration? How much base you are dissolving in the water, right? The amount of base dissolved in a solvent. See students, in all the cases we are using the word solvent. Solvent nothing but the water, because in the water acid and bases can dissociate and produce the ions. That is what we are using the word solvent, nothing but the water. So based on that, or that we are going to consider as the concentration of the base. So concentrated bases and the dilute bases we are getting. What is concentrated bases? As you studied for the acids, if there is a complete dissociation of ions, that is called concentrated base. If there is a partial or incomplete dissociation of the ions, then those are called as the dilute bases. See students, down we are showing how to represent the concentrated bases and the dilute bases. Let us learn dilution of the acids, students. While mixing acids and water, should we add acid to water or water to acid? Let us learn. For the dilution of the acids, we should add water to the acids or acid to the water. Let us learn. Students, so let us begin one experiment to prove that the reaction of sulfuric acid with the water is exothermic. Let us learn. See the apparatus, students. Take one stand, fix clamp to the thermometer, take a petri dish. You are going to take the water, dropper, stirrer, and concentrated sulfuric acid. It has become sulfutic, it is sulfuric acid. Add the water to the petri dish, students, first. As you add the water to the petri dish, just note down the temperature of the water. It's a normal water, room temperature. So note down the temperature. As you are observing, the room temperature is nearly 31 degrees Celsius. The initial temperature of the water is 31 degrees Celsius. Now, to the water, you are adding concentrated sulfuric acid. Before you begin the experiment, wear the specs, students, to take the precaution. Now take the concentrated sulfuric acid. With the help of the dropper, add the sulfuric acid drop by drop to the water. As you know, sulfuric acid is highly corrosive. A drop, concentrated it is, a drop falls on the skin also, it burns. So you have to add drop by drop, not the full container you are going to pour. Okay, stir it if it is required. If you want, add again. After adding and mixing, now note down the temperature in the thermometer. How much it was, students? 31 degrees Celsius water temperature. See, it is go on rising. 40. No, still it is rising. Oh my god. Nearly it has reached 50 degrees Celsius. So what is the conclusion of this experiment, students? When we want to prepare the dilute solutions, we should add acid to the water, but not water to the acid. As you have seen, there is a rise in the temperature, nothing but the dilution process. When you are making the dilution, it is one exothermic reaction. That is what we have to add acid to the water. That is the right procedure. Students, this is one experiment to show that if you add water to the acid, how dangerous it is. To prepare the dilute solutions, always we have to add acid to the water. If it is reversed, it may cause so many dangerous things, like it may burn the person who is doing that, or the container, the apparatus what you have taken, it may break, or it may cause something else, right? So just go through this so you will come to know. For this, you have taken one petri dish. In the petri dish, you have taken some concentrated acid with the help of the dropper. Superacid means some concentrated acid you are going to take. Add still more to the acid. Now you are going to add the water. See there, students. Hope you can listen that sound. See the fumes, what it is creating. And this experiment we are showing in very small quantity. Thank you students. Let us continue in the next video.